Rain whispers against old stone. A match flares. Smoke curls into the night. Justice. She's supposed to be blind. But in the real world, she peeks. And sometimes, she looks away on purpose. London, 1864. A city thick with fog and prejudice. When a body turned up after a pub brawl, the police didn't look for the truth. They looked for an Italian. And they found one. Serafino Pellizioni. A man the officers knew was most probably innocent, but they buried the evidence anyway. A clean knife, a blood-stained blade found outside the pub window, a place Pellizioni couldn't have reached, a fatal wound made by a left-handed attacker, while Pellizioni was right-handed. Didn't matter. They wanted a conviction. They got one. February 3rd, 1865. Guilty. Death sentence. But truth has a way of clawing back. A man named Negretti dug into the shadows and found Mogni, the real killer, who confessed he delivered the fatal blow, claiming self-defense. A grand jury dropped the charge to manslaughter. 5 years in prison. Pellizioni. He walked free only after a third trial exposed the rot beneath the surface. But London wasn't alone in its darkness. New York, 1937. Isidore Zimmerman, 20 years old, Jewish, and an easy target for anti-Semitic officials. They said he supplied the guns that killed a detective, even though he wasn't there. They suppressed evidence, intimidated witnesses, sent him to the electric chair. 9 months on death row, and a commutation came just 2 hours before his execution. He spent 24 years proving what the prosecutor already knew. He was innocent. Plainfield, New Jersey, 1967. A riot. A white officer dead. A black man, George Merritt, convicted on the word of a single witness. Years later, a hidden police report surfaced, one that contradicted that witness entirely. 10 years stolen before the truth broke through the concrete of the courtroom floor. Iowa, 1973. James Hall, a black football star, claimed he was in his dorm room when a nursing student was strangled. Prosecutors hid testimony, buried evidence pointing to other suspects, threw racial slurs into the mix. 10 years behind bars before a judge finally admitted Hall never got a fair trial. New York again, a city with a long memory and a longer record of wrongful convictions. William Fisher, beaten in a Harlem speakeasy brawl, blamed for a gun he never touched. Prosecutors hid ballistics reports proving his innocence. 11 years gone. 40 more fighting to clear his name. Ambition sent him away. Truth brought him back. Louis Hoffner, convicted on the flimsy ID of one witness, while 2 others said he wasn't the killer. Their statements? Suppressed. 12 years behind bars before the truth surfaced. Robert McLaughlin, convicted on the testimony of a teenager manipulated by police. 7 victims couldn't identify him. 4 witnesses said the ID was tainted. Prosecutors hid it all. Only after relentless pressure did the truth finally breathe again. Head to America's heartland, Oklahoma, 1936. Paul Goodwin, denied a lawyer for 79 days. Prosecutors hid confessions, buried testimony, twisted the narrative. 25 years behind bars for a murder he didn't commit. The law didn't fail him. It hunted him. Michigan, 1954. Walter Pichot's wife had tried to kill herself before. Fire, pills, carbon monoxide. One morning, she put a shotgun to her chest and pulled the trigger. Police found her suicide note and still charged Pichot with murder. They hid her fingerprint on the trigger guard. They hid the truth. 6 years later, a governor's pardon finally set him free. Illinois, 1955. Lloyd Miller, a cab driver with no record, confessed only after police told him he'd die. The bloody shorts used against him, paint stains, Lab reports proving it? Suppressed. 7 execution dates. One stay arrived 8 hours before he was set to die. 15 years stolen before the truth surfaced. Ohio, 1973. Thomas Brody, convicted while police hid the identity of the real killer. A detective knew the truth and buried it. Brody served years before the system reluctantly admitted its mistake. These aren't just cases. They're warnings. When evidence disappears into the shadows, when prejudice guides the hand of justice, when ambition outweighs truth, innocent people pay the price, and the system shrugs. But the shadows can't hide everything forever. Not the fingerprints, not the buried reports, not the confessions, not the truth. Because truth, even when strangled, smothered, and buried alive, has a way of clawing back to the surface,